Hello, third year students. In the last video, I started the poem Ulysses by Alfred Lord Tennyson, and I could do first 32 lines where the speaker of the poem, Ulysses, expresses his dissatisfaction at his present domesticated life, which he calls dull and boring. He recalls his past life as a warrior, as an adventurer, which he enjoyed greatly and suffered greatly as well. And he wishes to go back to that life of adventures to seek more knowledge before he dies. Now, let's continue further. This is my son, mine own Telemachus, to whom I leave the sceptre and the isle, well loved of me, discerning to fulfill this labour by slow prudence to make mild a rugged people, and through soft degrees subdue them to the useful and the good. Now, Ulysses introduces us to his son, whose name is Telemachus, and he is also the heir to the kingdom of Ithaca. He says, to whom I leave the sceptre and the isle. I leave my sceptre, the authority. I leave my authority to him, and he will be the king of Ithaca. It also seems here that when he says, I leave the sceptre and the isle, that he is ready to give up his throne and leave from Ithaca. Well loved of me, discerning to fulfill this labor. Discerning, determined. My son, he is well loved of me. I love my son. Discerning to fulfill this labor, and he is determined to fulfill this labor, this work of ruling, by slow prudence to make mild a rugged people. Prudence means intelligence. Ulysses is praising Telemachus over here, and he seems to him the right person to take over the throne. He says, by slow prudence, intelligence, and slow might refer to his patience. Telemachus, by his intelligence and patience, slow prudence to make mild a rugged people. By his intelligence and patience, can change the rugged people, the uncivilized people of the island into civilized people. And through soft degrees, subdue them to the useful and the good. Through soft degrees, through soft measures, and slowly and gradually, he can do this. Telemachus can do this even by not being harsh to them. Through soft measures, subdue them to the useful and the good. He can control them. Subdue means he can control them to do something useful and good. My son can turn the rugged people into civilized people, and also gradually control them to do something good and productive. Next he says, most blameless is he, centered in the sphere of common duties, decent not to fail in offices of tenderness, and pay meet adoration to my household gods when I am gone. Most blameless is he. Ulysses finds no fault in his son. For him, he is blameless. He is decent, not to fail, in offices of tenderness, and pay meet adoration to my household gods, centered in the sphere of common duties. Centered means he is devoted to his duties, and decent not to fail in the offices of tenderness. Ulysses is assured that when I'm gone, when I won't be here, either because of his death or because of his adventures, not clear of what exactly he is talking about, but for whatever reasons, when he won't be around, his son would be capable on all fronts, such as on all his son will be able to perform all the duties such as official works and paying proper respect to the household gods, to the family gods, and he will take care of all of these things when I am gone, and he will continue the legacy of common duties, descend not to fail in offices of tenderness, and pay meet adoration to my household gods when I'm gone. He works his work, I mine. He is clearly stating here that we both have two different duties. My son is good at ruling, and I won't fit as a king, according to Ulysses. And it seems to him that I won't fit as a king and I am more of an adventurer. So I will resume that work of sailing and exploring. There lies the port, the vessel puffs her sail. Now it seems that he is at the port of Ithaca, where a ship is ready to go off on a voyage, on a journey. There lies the port, the vessel puffs her sail. There glooms the dark, broad seas. He is pointing at the gloom, at the darkness over the huge sea, which suggests that weather is not favorable, weather is not good, a storm is about to come. And he's always been out on the stormy seas. And he says, my mariners, souls that have toiled and wrought and thought with me. Until now, it seemed as if he was talking to himself, but now there are some listeners when he says, my mariners. His mariners, his companions of sea journey. He is addressing them here and says, my mariners, that souls that have toiled and wrought and thought with me. The people, my fellow travelers, they have explored, they have suffered and gained knowledge with me. That ever with a frolic welcome took the thunder and the sunshine, and opposed free hearts, free foreheads. That ever with a frolic welcome means with a cheerful attitude, happily, these people have always gladly faced the challenges, have gladly accepted whatever their travels brought to them, the thunder and the sunshine, and opposed free hearts and free foreheads. Thunder and the sunshine means through thick and thin, through good and bad times, they have stick together and opposed free hearts, free foreheads. They faced whatever came in their way and they did it as free men with confidence and bravery. You and I are old. Old age hath yet his honor and his toil. Ulysses is aware of the fact that he and his fellow travelers have grown older. Old age hath yet his honor and his toil. But with old age comes honor, which a person earns by his toil, by his hard work, and also through his valuable life experience. Death closes all. He says, death brings an end to everything. But something ere the end, some work of noble naught may yet be done, not unbecoming man that strove with gods. But something ere the end, ere means before, but something before the end of our lives, some work of noble degree, some work of great value, something great can still be done. Not unbecoming man that strove with gods. Unbecoming, unsuitable, unfitting. Strove with gods, fought with gods. It is said that In Trojan War, the gods also took part. Occasionally, they would come down and fight with either of the two sides, sometimes with Trojans and sometimes with Greeks. So, he's saying here that we should do such things that is suitable for the man who fought with gods, something that heroic, something noble for which they will be remembered by the future generations. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. The long day wanes, the slow moon climbs. The deep moans round with many voices. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. The day has come to an end, and probably people of Ithaca are lighting lamps in the homes, and it's night. The slow moon climbs, the deep moans round with many voices. Moaning sound of the sea with many voices, the sound of sea waves and wind and other things is audible. Come, friends, come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world. Ulysses is telling his fellow travelers, he's urging his fellow travelers that it's never too late to go in search of new lands, new world. Push off and sitting well in order smite the sounding furrows. The sounding furrows? Furrows here refer to the path or marks made in the water by the ship. As the sailors strike with the oars, furrows are created in the water. Push off and sitting well in order smite. He is urging his fellow travelers to join him. Push off and sitting well in order smite the sounding furrows. For my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars. Ulysses says, I have decided, or I have intention to sail as far as I can, to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars. Now, this phrase, the baths of all the western stars, is taken from Homer. In Greek mythology, stars were thought to be in the western sea. So, what Ulysses wants to say over here is that he has set his goal of sailing really far away, beyond the horizon of the unknown place, and that is where the stars touch the sea. And he will continue to sail towards his goal until he dies. Of all the western stars, until I die. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we knew. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. He says, the journey that we have undertaken involves some risks and possibilities. It might happen that we get drowned in the gulfs in the strong currents of water, that it is possible that we might get drowned during this sea journey. It may be we shall touch the happy isles, or it is also possible that we touch the happy isles. That means after death we reach the heaven or the island of great people and see the great Achilles whom we knew. Achilles is another great Greek hero, and Ulysses, along with his fellow mariners, is hoping to meet him and join him in the heaven if they all die during this sea journey. So he is happy with the thought that if they die, that wouldn't be a bad thing, because then they might go to the happy isles and meet the great Achilles whom we knew. Though much is taken, much abides. Much is taken means in old age there is not much energy left, but much abides. But they are hopeful that much abides, remains, there is enough left to go a little farther, to continue the journey that we have taken up. We are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven. That which we are, we are. We are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven. He says, I know we don't have the same energy and strength, the physical power which moved earth and heaven, the power with which they fought in the heroic battles. They don't have that power now. That which we are, one equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. That which we are, one equal temper of heroic hearts. But ultimately, we are the same man. We are the same man that once we used to be. One equal temper of heroic hearts. We do have the same temperament. We do share the same passion of bravery in our hearts and ready to take on the challenges of life. Made weak by time and fate, but strong in will. He says, our bodies are made weak by time and old age, but our willpower is as strong as ever. Their spirits are as strong as ever, but strong in will to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Now, this last line of this poem is one of the often quoted phrases of Tennyson's poems: to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. To strive means to struggle, to work hard, to seek, to explore, to find, and not to yield. Yield, not to give in, not to surrender, never to give up attitude. He is declaring here that, Ulysses is declaring here that, although we are old and weak in body, but we still have the strong spirit to go on, to work hard, and never to surrender before any kind of circumstances, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. So with this note, the poem ends here. Thank you.